One thing that I believe affects the business sector a lot, which is the uncertainty in the policies.
Well, I think most of the Pakistani businesses are very innovative in the sense that they've survived in a very hostile environment.
We're very much on having the outward approach towards the problem. We have been talking about how the government is not doing, which is right, but then again, you need to do something inwards as well.
If anywhere in the world you had that kind of interest rates, the whole economy would have been bankrupt. Start your financial planning from very early age. Start investing when you are in your 20s.
So hello and assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to another episode of DSG Podcast. Let's keep talking green. I hope you all are doing good and I welcome you back to a brand new episode. And today is a one-of-a-kind episode, something that I always wanted to talk about. So we talk about energy, climate action, environment. But today we're talking about how in Pakistan, in the uncertain climate of policies and conditions, businesses can thrive in a sustainable manner. And to talk about this topic, I have the privilege of having with me Mr. Nadeem Elahi from Asghar Textile Mills. When we talk about Asghar Textile Mills, I think it's one-of-a-kind business in Pakistan with years and years of operating in different domains, let's say textile, logistics, capital development and whatnot. So today we'll learn something from his experience and talk about how businesses need to thrive in the current conditions that we've been facing in Pakistan. So hello sir, how are you?
Hello Amal, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here in Karachi and we're pleased to have you on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me and taking time out to do something important.
It's surely our pleasure. So sir, I just talked about how the group that you're part of has diversified into major businesses. So before we talk about anything else, I'd like to know about your journey. When did you join Ali Asghar?
Yes.
What kind of businesses have you guys been into? Something about the group.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, I joined in '94 after graduating from Boston University. And at that point, my father was running a textile spinning mill, named Ali Asghar Textile Mills. And from '94 till 2010, we ran the spinning unit. And then because what happened was that the plant, they came into the city.
Yeah.
And so, it was made no sense to run a spinning unit on such expensive land. So we decided that a diversified policy of having multiple businesses was a better bet than just running a spinning unit. So in 2010, we exited from spinning and we entered the Pakistani capital markets and also set up a logistics warehouse.
Okay.
And then we made this office building in which we are actually doing the podcast.
Yes. Okay, I think it's interesting. You guys have done a number of business and diversifying from textile mill. So currently, how do you see the textile business in Pakistan? Since I think it has seen years and years of evolving. So what would be your take on that?
I think the major theme over the last 30 years has been one of consolidation. So when I joined business, our premier textile organization, Aptoma, had 350 or 360 members.
Yeah.
Now it's down to, I think, less than 200. But so you had a lot of players exit, but the ones who stayed on have become much bigger.
Exactly.
So, and the same thing has happened in the other sectors of textiles. I mean, right now we were talking about spinning, but in weaving, in garments. So we have seen a lot of consolidation.
Exactly.
And going forward, obviously Pakistan has good inputs as far as cheap labor is concerned. Energy had been cheap, especially for the south. Now no longer. And you have a good stock of entrepreneurs who know the business. Now they are almost third generation people who are managing the businesses. Exactly. So they know the ins and outs of the industry, but obviously any industry cannot be in isolation of what is happening around in the country. And the textile industry is bearing the brunt of all the mismanagement and lack of decision making.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot more potential that is being tapped So similar is for many businesses. So my next question would be that you've been in business for the years and it has been evolving over the years. So right now in 2025, what do you think is the top one of the challenges that the currently, and especially the business community of Pakistan is facing?
Right. So the challenges are no different than what they were 10 years ago. I mean, it's the same high interest costs, high energy, the perception of the country, the law and order. And those things over the last, if you were to ask me, how do they compare to what they were in 2015? They've just gotten worse.
Exactly.
So, you haven't really progressed on those matrices.
Yeah.
If anything, the country has been able to, send out a lot of your population, the working age group out, and
the brain drain that we're facing.
I mean, that's debatable. Your field marshal calls it a brain drain, but that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But what has happened is that the remittances, which were, I think, $8 billion in 2010, are now almost reaching $40 billion.
Yes.
So there has been a huge support for the country.
Definitely.
And it's now, higher than your exports.
So don't you think that the remittances that they are coming in, we put taxes upon them as well? Then again, the capital that is in Pakistan, and we have this high issue of the undocumented economy that is. Do you think that we haven't tapped much into the potential because you've been into the capital markets as well? And there are very few people in Pakistan who now, and even now, understand how they work and how they can utilize. And even a small consumer can also go up to and put their share in that. So do you think that there has been a lack of awareness in that section, or there has been a lack of trust that the community can put in?
So as far as the capital markets in Pakistan are concerned, I mean, we started, investing back in 2010. So, I've been in the business now for almost 15 years.
Yeah.
So the issue here is that why people don't go into the capital markets is because it's a very regulated form of investment.
Exactly.
And for almost since the birth of Pakistan, we've had many untaxed, unregulated assets to put your money in.
Yeah.
Number one being land. So, when investors have a choice of the unregulated, untaxed asset, so they very easily pile up into that. And now, because the government is clamping down on some sort of untaxed havens, and so now you have a trend towards the capital markets.
Capital markets. So don't you think the stock exchange and all, they SEC specifically, they've put up the regulations a bit too strict for people to enter in?
Well, I mean, as far as if you're talking about companies who want to get themselves listed. Yes, the regulations are there, and more importantly, there's no real incentive to go public. I mean, if you're a private limited company or you're a public limited company, the tax regime is almost the same.
Exactly.
And the reality is that a lot of the companies, opt to remain private because it's so much easier to steal.
Exactly.
They can easily skim the taxes. They can manipulate the books because the regulation is just not that strong on a private limited company.
Exactly.
So a lot of the people who otherwise in other countries get themselves listed, in Pakistan they opt to remain private because A, there's no incentive, B, it's much easier to steal taxes.
Exactly, and I think it should be otherwise, and we haven't taken the progressive approach towards that, but let's hope that there will be a betterment in the future. And on the terms of having the policies which are not actually community centered and having a progressive approach, there's one thing that I believe affects the business sector a lot, which is the uncertainty in the policies. For example, even if we talk about the industries and the rebates that they get, the other things that they get on the utilities, that has also been fluctuating since ever. So how do you see the policies in Pakistan which regulate the businesses, which incentivize the businesses?
Well, I mean, if you talk about policies, you look at the US. I mean, the US is going through massive policy changes.
Yeah.
every year you have a democratic president who has a completely different viewpoint on businesses, on crypto, on how the shape of the US economy should be.
Yeah.
But businesses there are thriving, people are investing. So it's not really about policy change. It's more about the fact that I mean, right now even Pakistan, if you look at top 20 economists from all the top political parties, there's not much difference on what they feel needs to be done. But the issue is that nobody does it. Any problem has to be solved in a certain time frame. Otherwise, then you can't. And the reform process, you didn't privatize PIA, which should have been done 10 years ago.
Exactly.
They almost had the chance. They let it go. You didn't privatize the discos. As a result, your electricity tariff.
Trying to do now.
No, I mean, they've been trying to do it for the last 25 years.
Yes.
Even the first, the financial advisors to the discos were appointed in Musharraf's time. So it's not like they don't know what the problem is. They just, the vested interests are so strong that they don't want to do it.
So they're not swift in action, we can say.
It's not about being swift. It's just that the other side is so, much stronger that they do not let the reform process happen, which we all will benefit. Look at the banking sector. Nawaz Sharif privatized Habib Bank, then Musharraf privatized UBL, and look at the quality of the service you get now from the banking sector.
Exactly.
So that happened because there was a decision at the top to privatize them. Otherwise, they would have gone the same way that PIA or Pakistan Steel or all your other government organizations have gone.
Exactly. So I think this is something that we can debate on, and this is something that has been the same, will be the same probably. But again, the affected party is the businesses, is the common layman of Pakistan, who is somehow related to this, who somehow gets the burden of this. So if we look at the the solving side, if the brighter side, then what would be your take on that? How can the businesses change and adapt swiftly themselves according to the policy changes? Because one thing that I observe in Pakistan, we're very much on having the outward approach towards the problem. We have been talking about how the government is not doing, which is right, but then again, you need to do something inwards as well. So what would be your advice that how can they adapt? How can they make sure that they're thriving themselves?
Well, I think most of the Pakistani businesses are very, innovative in the sense that they've survived in a very hostile environment. I mean, if you see a group which has done well over the last 20-25 years, you have to give it to them that, in spite of, so many issues stacked up against them, they still were able to grow, they were still able to be profitable.
Exactly.
I mean, that's like 2 years ago, you had 22% interest rates. If anywhere in the world you had that kind of interest rates, the whole economy would have been bankrupt. But because this wasn't the first time that Pakistan experienced such high interest rates,
so they've been resilient.
So people already have a very low debt to equity ratio. I mean, a lot of people here say that Pakistani businesses don't go to banks and they don't. But there is a reason for that. Because, the history has shown that whenever somebody has certain amount of leverage, not very high, I mean, let's say 60-40, even they get into a big issue because you have exorbitant interest rates, which, for 3-4 years are enough to bankrupt any company.
Exactly. So again, you have to be innovative, as you said, and you've seen businesses like you and many around taking the innovative approach. They've been resilient enough to fight it out, make a place for themselves. So talking about the innovative solutions, I wanted to talk about the solar energy revolution that is coming in Pakistan. We've seen people finally being energy independent, as we call it. So how do you see that happening? Not only it's good for the environment, it is something which is also helping them with the utility cost. So how do you see this adoption?
So I think that, if you look at the solar play. So in 2010, it was, I think, 23 cents per kilowatt, which is now down to 9 cents per kilowatt. So there is God-sent solution for countries like Pakistan. You couldn't have asked for a better solution to Pakistan's energy needs, because now you are transitioning to cleaner, cheaper way of generating electricity. And for a lot of people who never had the grid, like for example the villages or far off areas, this is a very
game changer.
Easy solution. And if I'm correct, it's called, I think, distributed power. So
you become a microgrid yourself.
So anybody in some far-flung area can also just set up a solar panel and get the energy that they need.
Exactly. With the BESS coming in, I think it's even more increasing how the people are now putting up the battery energy storage systems and making themselves actually. But again, there comes the point of when we talk about the policies, as I say, that there have been changes in net metering, there have been changes in how much can the grid take, how much independence can be given to the people. So I think that is something that we're looking at and hoping there will be better times.
Well, so, I mean, the argument against the net metering and going so much higher in the solar capacity, because Pakistan is obviously importing a huge amount of solar panels. The argument that people are saying that it is the people are leaving the grid and it is increasing the cost per unit for the customers who are on the grid. But the issue is that you made a bad decision in 2015 and 16, and you went into power plants which are ideal right now, because the demand never came. So now, in order to correct that wrong, you are committing another wrong by slowing down this adoption.
Exactly.
Or trying to. From what I understand is that अभी भी net metering में जो law change है, that has not taken place. There is under debate. There's a lot of back and forth on that.
Exactly.
But it's still sort of at the Prime Minister's desk.
Yeah, I'm hoping it comes to something which is, a win-win for the both parties, because again, that is for the people who are not on the grid as well. So when we're talking about solar energy, I can't help but ask that how has your experience been DSG Energy? Because I know you guys have also added that to your energy mix. Yes. So please share how the experience has been. What have been the learning outcomes from that? Because that's what you do when you adopt it.
I mean, our experience has been very good. DSG, when we first met them, we had not heard about them. And they basically, are Lahore-based setup, and we were approached by many people who were based in Karachi. So, but when we, found out about them from a lot of our relatives who had set it up in their own companies in Lahore and in Multan, so we had a very, good feeling about it. And then we met Daniel and Abdullah and Talha and the whole team, and so, we were sold on that. And then the actual process has been also very smooth. They've been very cooperative in many things. And obviously having them as a tenant here in our building also helps. And so, so I would think that we made a good choice.
I'm really glad to know that. So talking about the adoption process, and there's always, I think, a learning from whatever new technology that you adopt. So when you shifted to solar energy, I believe you would have recommendations for the people who are looking forward to change. So what would you say that what is something that you need to have in mind when you're making the switch?
Well, I guess, the thing is just to, go over the details so that you know that what you are signing up for, because there's a lot of fine print. The weather impacts a lot of the output that is promised, and also your installation has to be top notch. Otherwise, bad installation can actually cause a fire, which can lead to major losses. So those are the things that you need to be cognizant about, other than the obvious cheaper energy.
Exactly. I think that is some takeaway for the people watching, that you need to do your due diligence before shifting whatever new tech you're coming in. You need to make sure that that is something that aligns with your requirements, with your business. So it has been a pleasure, and I think there's something that people can always learn from the people who have been in the business market. So there's one question that I have related to that,
Yes.
which is that when we're talking about current businesses in Pakistan, what would you say is the go-to investment that they should make, which will help them be the leader in the coming times? Would it be tech? Would it be the people? What do you think is that they need to heavily invest on, which will
Yeah.
give them the better ROI?
No, so right now, I think the whole world is in a flux right now, because what AI is doing is that it's finishing entry-level jobs.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who, for example, 5 years ago, they were told that, okay, if you become a coder, you're set for life.
Yeah.
Now,
ChatGPT is coding
what
for you.
AI has done is that it's completely writing software.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that you need to have an education which allows you a lot of flexibility, and probably invest in education where a career is more of a human to human interaction, because that's probably what AI won't replace.
Yeah.
So, and obviously, and then as far as young people are concerned, I would say that, look, just understand that life is very difficult. It's not easy, and I know a lot of my friends are going through a lot of difficult times right now because of financial decisions. So start your financial planning from very early age. Start investing when you are in your 20s.
Yeah.
Then save that money, because the power of compounding will take place in the 7th or 8th year of your
Exactly.
journey. So if you start when you're 20, so by 27, 28, you will start getting the compounding effect.
Exactly.
So that's basically a very important point. Just start early.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice, because we don't see that much financial literature in many in Pakistan. So this is something, I think, if you have access to internet in the coming time and you're not learning about how you can multiply your money, you are wasting on the resources that are available for you. So I think this is a great advice that you've shared with the young people. So thank you so much, sir, for joining us
You're
here
welcome.
today.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure, and we look forward to keep working with the Asghar Group.
Thank you, and thank you for your team also, who
Definitely.
managed this so efficiently, and thank you for coming over from Lahore for this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's been a
Welcome.
pleasure.
You're welcome.
Thank you for watching. We'll be back with another episode. As we say always, that let's keep talking green, because the more we'll talk about it, the more we'll know, the more we'll help each other. So I hope that this episode was something that the young entrepreneurs could help from, could learn from. So thank you for tuning in. Allah Hafiz.